So I have a question. With Mother's Day, I know we're not supposed to date things, but with Mother's Day upon us and Father's Day soon, does anybody have any D&D parents? Anybody have fantasy or sci-fi parents? I myself had a sci-fi dad. So Doctor Who with a long scarf, Star Trek, Star Wars, the whole bit. Some of the more obscure sci-fi stuff like Dune he really liked. And because sci-fi and fantasy kind of go hand in hand, we got to watch like the old B sci-fis and fantasy movies like Hawk the Slayer, both Conans, Red Sonja, that kind of thing. On Mom's side, she liked period pieces, so we'd watch things like Count of Monte Cristo. I want to say The Last Samurai, but that's not it. Shit. It's like the Thornbirds, but the other, what was it called? Damn it. I'm trying to think of a mini series. It was huge. They just redid it. And had the guy from they had Richard Chamberlain from Thornbirds, but he was in he's a Dutch pilot that goes Dutch navigator that's stuck in Japan.
You're
Shogun,
talking
thank
about
you.
Shogun.
Thank you. Sorry, Shogun, like period pieces, she was into that. So obviously this had a profound effect on me as a kid, evening television when these movies would come up, we're allowed to watch them. And I was curious, we had interviewed most of you guys talking about what started you, and a lot of guys like video games. Does anybody have any, fantasy or sci-fi parents that were like into it mildly or like heavy? Anybody?
Nope.
No? You're all black sheep of your family?
Nope. My sister and I became Doctor Who and Star Wars fans as we grew up. I was probably the nerdier of the two of us, but she sort of has come around and joined the full nerd party, and so she and I have gone to Dragon Con together and that sort of thing now. But neither of our parents was particularly into that. My mom would watch the Star Wars movies with us because it was something she would do with us, and it was family television or family time that we could spend together. Dad didn't really care. He likes the Maverick, Top Gun, Mission Impossible movies and Clint Eastwood and all that sort of thing, but has no real interest in the silly sci-fi stuff.
Yeah, I gotta say, spy movies is its own trope, and both parents loved all the spy stuff.
Yeah,
how about the opposite coin? Unless we can have like a spy mom or dad. Any hands raised? Did anyone have parents old enough for the old Satanic Panic? The old D&D is bad for you?
Yeah, I wasn't allowed to play Dungeons and Dragons, so I was raised in a very conservative Christian home, and so I was not allowed to trick or treat on Halloween because that was Satan's Day. And so instead we would go to our church and dress up as Moses and Noah and Christian Bible characters and hand out, like Bibles to each other. And so, yeah, I wasn't allowed to play Dungeons and Dragons growing up. So I had to wait until like college to start doing that.
Slip the chocolate coins in between the pages. There's got to be some candy in here. Okay. Just curious. What about you guys? No Mission Impossible mom or spy dad? None of that? No? Just Hockey Night in Canada? That's all I'm looking at? What? Anything? Not ringing a bell. Okay. I just surprised. Just curious.
You guys will make a terrible 51st date.
Both of my parents were kind of nerdy. I will say that. My mom, big fantasy buff. My dad was kind of more into the sci-fi side of things.
Okay, thank you, Matt Witt. Feel like tricking McGuire. Thank you, so and so. One vote.
He made that all up. His parents.
I know.
No, it's true story. So, like, most parents were reading their kids' bedtime stories of like kids' books and stuff. My mom was reading us The Hobbit and
Nice.
The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay, there you go.
Chronicles of Narnia. I loved Narnia.
Only, should have raised your hand first, Matt. What about you, Gibson?
That'd be a big nada on all that aspect. No.
No, this is not good or bad. Y'all came out as wonderfully great nerds to play with me. I'm happy with y'all. And thank you to all your parents. So just curious, it had struck me for Mother's Day, something she's asked me to do is binge something really cool. We'll sit together and we'll watch a bunch of something. There was No, I watched that alone. Not even my wife will watch that with me. I'm almost caught up. I know I'm breaking the rule of Joe, but I literally saw a Star Wars tactical unit get off the back of a transport all in black. And I'm like, wait a minute, didn't I just read that for prep for like next week's game? And I'm like, yeah, there's tactical dudes and it says they're all in black and blah. It's like, oh, sweet, Anyway. So, put some logos. We'll get right into it.
Go away. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking
I
to...
want you to talk to all the audience.
I don't care. I'm meta. I'm being meta.
That's not meta. He's talking about hit points, and I wouldn't let him during the intro. He's
Too late. I've already done
it. Oh. Bring up the combat tracker. There we go. Who's doing what where?
Just
what's going
checking
on here?
with Vicar Niles, our healer, that he had himself taken care of for healing.
Yeah, I can heal myself quite well.
Well, going through the Gio, Muros, who wasn't there, is fine. Karam's only got 4 wounds. Elbrick, I think he did a little bit of healing because you only have 23 wounds. He's still at 6-7 hit points. Vicar Niles took a schmattering at 67 wounds and only had 60. And Glug, 45 wounds and still 117. So, while you guys are catching your breath, did we want to drop any spells? Are we doing any?
Probably do some medicine checks. Haven't done that in a long time.
So. Okay.
I'm right next to Karam. Karam, you did a healing on me at the end of the last session, did you not? Some battle medicine or something? You did battle medicine on somebody.
I did it on Albert.
Okay. Is that something that is renewable that you could do on me once?
Yeah, I could do that on you.
I don't know if you have a limited number of those or anything.
I just gotta check and make sure I can do it more than once a day for you. Yes, I have continual recovery, so I could do it every... Oh, hold on. That might have been...
Didn't Vicar had the good touch going? Didn't we have
That's
just get near him and you get free hit points? That's still running there, Joe?
I did that once.
Yep.
I'm posted up on the door right now, so unless... The point was that we were kind of still handling stuff, but if we've got all that time, if we've got extra time, we'll just chill out.
I never said you had time. I want to know exactly what you're doing round by round.
Posted up on the door, standing next to Karam and asking Karam if he can do battle medicine on me. So
all right.
Running across to the other side of the room to touch Vicar Niles would be a different set of rounds.
I'm sure you have. I'm not going to keep you in rounds, but I'm sure you have a minute or two. I'm not going to just go, 10 and then 20 and then 30, type of thing, because war can change.
So Karam, what do you know?
Yeah, just do treat wounds on you for 29 critical success.
Okay. Alll, I see you're outside the door. You're trying to get out of range of those bells.
Yeah.
Did you like the cover version? The vaudeville violin cover version of AC/DC's Hell's Bells that I actually caught for the last the outro last 2 episodes. You're supposed to say yes. The audience doesn't know that you guys don't listen to my edits.
Yes.
That's good stuff.
Okay, so you actually did more than 17 to me. It only said 17, but I heard you say something like 29. Is that true?
29 for the DC. So I got a critical success. So I got 48. So you got 17, but you also need to take 10 for my level.
So it's 10 more.
Yep. So it's 27.
Okay.
Yep. Total.
Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Al, did you want to run back in and brush up against Niles for some love and feeling, some hit points?
Yes, I may as well.
What was your static spell, and how much time have we got left on that, Vicar?
For Vital Beacon, it's until my next prep.
Oh, okay.
So it lasts a whole
Okay.
day, but it's the first one is 4d10, then the next one's 4d8, and if he's going to do it now, it'll be 4d6.
Okay.
Touch me.
For 12.
Woohoo! And I'll drink another one of my potions just to top me up.
Okay.
And
do
where is
a-
that? Notes. 5d6 plus 12.
So I got the 12 on you from Vicar.
Vicar, I don't even know her.
Well, that was a stretch.
So that tops me up.
Okay. Healthy dwarves
Heal
are happy
myself.
dwarves. Yes. They just come suck all the positive energy out of you, and that's why you're such a
Yeah.
gaunt little dude, right? You got nothing left for me.
Yeah. No, so I'm going to do a battle medicine to myself.
Okay.
Because we don't have time.
Is
I'm
that
going to
difficulty harder?
increase- I'm
Yeah.
going to increase the DC to 30. And I got
25.
I will use my hero point.
Okay.
Early in the game.
Early in the game. It's all right. We got one. I'll try
Yeah.
it again.
I'll point out that at the end of our last session, Jeff said that we would be coming into today's session with a brand new hero point, but that Muros would have 2, given the events of
Yeah.
the end of the last session.
That is true. So Joe unfortunately just burned his brand new one and now has zip.
Sorry.
But it's okay.
But I get
Yeah.
2d8 plus 30
Okay.
for that difficulty. So I get to big up and 39 back.
Okay.
That'll be good enough for me.
Got you covered. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So with you guys in the lightly wounded category or non-light category, so instead of everyone having to like wrap their head around big numbers, there pretty much is the 4 stages. You're lightly wounded, moderately wounded, heavily wounded, or critically wounded. Above 75, above 50, above 25, or below 25% of your hit points. And that's what usually Fantasy Grounds says for the monster, so you guys don't have to like run over to a message check going, how's he look? How's he look? How's he look? If you guys watch the damage going in, it'll say, lightly wounded, moderately wounded, critically wounded. That doesn't mean the 30 points is a critical wound. It means he's finally dropped below whatever percentage of hit points of his max. That's a good way to get a feel, for your opponent. So, with Miros happily banging on every pot, waking up the dungeon, as it were, and you guys topped up on hit points, how would you guys like to proceed?
Well, we have Karam and I over by the door to the southeast of
Yep.
the room. I think, can you check it for traps, Karam? Is that within your powers and abilities? You seem like you might. I don't mean to say anything about you, but just
Wow, being a little.
Oh,
sneaky.
wow.
Sneaky.
Racial profiling and stereotype. Just because he's a halfling, right?
yeah. But you do have those skills, right? I mean,
Yeah, I've got-
I might be racial profiling, but I'm right.
I might have thievery expert. Jeez. At least I'm not a master.
Hey, it's fine. He's a half orc. Ask him if he's got any elven ears or a human skull somewhere in his gear.
Whoa! Who's getting racist now?
Oh, I'm sorry, full orc. He
Thank
definitely
you.
has some elf ears or a human skull in his gear somewhere. Right?
It looks a little
What I collect
diluted
along
there,
the
glug
way.
glug.
It would be awesome if you actually had like your very own, poor York. I knew him well. It was, poor Kurgus. You weren't worshiping a god. You just had some skull. It's like your buddy your orc skull buddy that you died in combat and you just talked to him. Oh, Kurgus, if only we could, He's a savant
It
champion.
would be an elf skull that
My best friend.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, but seriously, make with the traps there, just because it's funny because Drew is usually our trap guy in some of the other games too. I just realized. Kind of are the trap dude. Do you have?
I'm happy to open the door once you are reasonably confident. Since I have the hits.
Okay. You don't seem to find a trap. And I'm sure Drew is tired of hearing me say this, but I never get tired of saying it. You don't seem to find a trap. Karam.
It seems all right. I don't see any trigger mechanisms.
Okay. Then I will move in front of the door and I'll double check with Ulbrich. You guys ready back there? You guys are on the other side of the room. I'm about to open a door.
Yep. Neros is banging like hell on his pots.
Victor,
I don't want to play.
Ulbrich.
I want to bang on my drums all day. Boom, boom, boom. There's Neros in the corner.
Yeah. Ulbrich's not even paying attention to me as I holler his name out. You guys good? I'm going to open the door.
All good.
Yeah.
Getting there.
All right. I will open the door.
1, 2, 3.
I will step
This
in.
office is in shambles, Glug Glug. With paper strewn about haphazardly. A trapdoor in the ceiling has a folding staircase descending from it, but several steps of the ladder are broken and stained with blood.
Where's the... on the far side of the room. I see it. So
See
it's over
there,
on the eastern side of the room, dropping down. Okay.
So the room goes 20 feet straight ahead to the east to the back wall and said ladder. 5 feet to your right. And then along the left wall to the north, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 40 feet. It's a very tall rectangular room running the back length of the bar. Yeah. It's called an office. It even says office, but I don't see a desk. I see a bunch of crates. I know. Look at the crates. I know. What's going on? Somebody's getting a little stingy with the map props, I would say. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm willing to go over to inspect the drop ladder.
Sure.
Now you said that some of the rungs are missing and there's blood on it.
They're broken, so not completely gone, but
are they lower ones? Could I if I were to jump up? I mean, which ones are missing? Which ones are seen broken? Are they lower down or are they higher up?
I don't think this is something that's going to mess with your athletics or whatever. It's just something going, aha, look, evidence. Part of these steps are broken and there's blood on it. Now remember, there was a fight here and we found some bodies, right? So obviously the fight spilled into this room and maybe right onto this ladder. But
right.
if you give me a crafting check.
Okay.
No, it's stability, right? Or perception.
My perception is 1 better, so I'll give you a perception in the tower.
Sure. As long as you're carefully doing it, there's not enough rungs broken or missing to really slow you down. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Just something that stands out.
Do you guys want me to go ahead and climb up and check that out at this point, y'all? I can start heading up there. I just don't want to leave the entire party strung out 5 rounds behind me.
I am
We're on our
ready.
way.
I don't know about the others.
Okay. Then I will carefully start climbing the ladder.
Okay. Niles, you joining by the looks of it?
Yes.
Okay. And Al bringing up the rear?
As always.
All right. Climb up the ladder. You get to the top. It doesn't appear to be locked. How do you wish to proceed, Glug Glug?
I'll push it open
Okay.
and set off the person who has their ready to action on top. It's what I would do.
Okay. Bringing Glug Glug. It's going to move some map here. Bringing Glug Glug onto the new map, as it were. Poking your head through the floor, a trapdoor, you peer around at a lit and relatively quiet-looking study. 2 overstuffed sofas sit facing each other in this room, while a round table with a few stools sit near opposite. The spicy scent of coffee and tea lingers in the air. Doors provide exits to the east, west, and south, and you are peeking through the trap door that sits in the floor It says to the north, which surprises me because
the
in far
southeast end of the room.
yeah, no, well, I'm wondering if the whole map is spun and north is actually we've been walking from south to north through this place. I just always assume if not listed, north is up.
Yeah,
Right.
I'll continue all the way through and up into the room if nothing
Okay.
has attacked me on the way in.
Can I have a perception? I'm assuming you're doing the careful
Yep.
peering before you give me a perception of the tower.
No, but okay. I figured it was
No,
better to push through as fast as possible
Oh, okay.
because I'm in a precarious position, so it's better.
Right.
That,
Sorry, when you said somebody ought to hit you, I thought, oh, he's,
no, I just
want to be
expected
careful.
somebody would. Right. But
Yeah.
no, I want to.
I thought you'd do the Oscar in the trash can where there's like just
Yep,
two
nope.
eyes and a nose sticking over the lip and you look around.
No, because I
Okay.
know my allies are behind me, so I need to go ahead and push all the way in and not
Okay.
clog the stairs.
I got you. Okay, so you whip the lid open, pop out, get 2 feet on the ground, and peer around. Description is the same except for you see 2 humans cowering behind a couch. They are crouched down, holding each other in fear, and you come jumping up, so they obviously see and hear you, and they look at you. Ah! They look scared out of their freaking mind. What do you do?
Greetings. I'll say greetings.
They tremble
We got a
in
couple
fear.
up here. I'm not really good at interrogation, but I'll
Please,
say hello.
please don't.
Hello.
Please don't hurt us.
Are they armed
It doesn't look like it.
with like
They
maybe
appear-
kitchen knives or?
I'm sorry, we're gonna have to search you before you can meet the rest of my party.
That's right.
They do not
Strip
appear to be
search.
armed. They appear to be wearing regular clothes. I wouldn't say the clothes of a commoner. You don't go to a coffee house if you're broke.
Okay.
They appear to be afraid, and there's a man and a woman that appear to be human.
Okay.
And they are
Great.
cowering behind the couch, and now they're looking at you, and you're like, ah! So they're all like, ah!
Hello, I am Glug Glug. Please stand still and wait for the rest of my party to meet you and greet you. Hey, y'all coming? I oddly do not use my natural southern accent when meeting new people for some obscure reason.
You're speaking common now, right?
That's
Your
right. Yeah,
accent's
when
on
I'm speaking, I'm trying to be polite to people, so I affect.
Actually, you've been listening to the Rhodian accent, the Kintargo accent, and everyone's so happy not to be part of Cheliax, and you're just trying your hand at it, right? My fellow Chelaxians. Sounds like Xlax, right? Chelax. By Cheliax. Goes right through you. Okay. They seem too afraid of you to move. Like, there's several exits, and obviously they've been hiding here. Perhaps they, missed the battle or whatever, but they're, at the moment, they're sort of cowering in fear, confident that the couch will protect them from you as opposed to trying to bolt out any doorway. And you come up and stride over. Hello. You guys heading up there? Karam, next in line? Yeah. Karam and all the rest here on Gilligan's Isle. Aha. Karam. And then we've got Vicar Niles. And then we've got Alll.
If I wasn't a champion, I'd go over and start measuring their heads to see how well they would look hanging from my belt.
Oh, he's on Skull. Look at Skull Patrol.
Skull Watch now. No, that's a different character. That's not this one. This one's nice.
Okay. Seeing a montage of races, the orc was a bit scary. You don't get a lot of those in Kintargo, but followed by a dwarf and a halfling and a human, right? We don't see, the manticles. No one's bearing pieces of triad and red type of thing. So they're just really watching you guys nervously and cowering and talking quietly to each other. And the man cautiously asks who you guys are. Who are you? Are you with them?
I told you I'm Glug Glug. I was asking for you to introduce yourself. We're We're friends of
You
the town.
said not to move and drop all our weapons, so we met the rest of your party. I dropped something. I think it was a load in my pants, but I'm okay now. Just kicked
What's
it on the
your name?
couch. 1 second. What was that girl's name?
I
Oh, no,
gotta
this is
look
the-
it up. I have it on a piece of paper over here. Let me look it up.
No. I've got it. It's
I'm starting to
just
doubt
wrote
that that's
Global.
your name if you're
Vic-
having to think
Vic-
about it that
Vic-
hard.
Vic. No, I'm actually switching between the PDFs of the adventure and what I've got fancy.
No, I
around.
totally
It's a little
know.
bit
I'm
muddled.
just
Yeah.
giving you shit, blaming the character.
Vic Manther and Zamora. I'm Vic Manther, and this is my wife Zamora. We're happy to meet you. Are you with them? You're not slavers. You're not going to enslave us, are you?
No, I'm anti-slavery. I'm very anti-slavery.
Oh, good. They look
Can't
at each
speak
other.
for the rest of my friends, but mostly anti-slavery.
Mostly. We're pretty sure none of us would stand for that. They look at each other and nod and seem to decide something, and they turn back to you going, and they start talking about the Naldalese agents attacking the coffee house and abducting staff. They believe the Naldalese agents from the neighboring country came and rounded up a whole bunch of staff. Thank God you're here. Are the authorities with you? Did you call the guard? They're freaking out.
What I would like to do is perception what one would do to try to detect a lie. I don't think Doug doesn't think they're lying, but
Perception in the tower against the sense motive.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is what I want to make sure I feel like they're telling me the truth.
Okay. Their story seems solid. They could have been fed. Remember how Nolly was talking about us jumping on that lie that's spreading through town about the Naldalese being responsible, right? So whoever came in here and tore the place up, remember how that demon posed as being Naldalese? Whoever came in here posed as being Naldalese as well, and have convinced these poor schlebs. Or these guys are really, really good at lying because your gut and your eyes tell you something. There's blood on the stairs, but there's no blood on them. Their clothes are perfectly clean. And there's also 2 cups of tea steaming, sitting on the table, half empty, as if somebody was sitting around having tea and having a good old non-panicky time. And then you come barging up here, and these guys are already in panic position. Something doesn't quite add up.
Then I will move around to the space between the 2 doors to the east and north, to the west and north of them, so that
Okay.
I can sort of block their exit and get a sense as to whether or not it looks like that somebody may have gone out those doors.
Okay. Are you just trying to casually circle the room and talk to them, or are you just striding around like some mafioso guard just taking up position?
Somewhere halfway between those two.
Can I have a deception roll, please?
I'm not just trying to deceive them with anything, but if you'd like a deception roll,
If you stride right for the door to obviously block an exit, are you going to enslave us? And if it looks like you're trying to trap them in the room, I want to know if that appears to be your intent. If it doesn't, like I said, if you try to play it casual and you just walk around, meet my party,
I am sort of marching off and in between them and let them. They've been very cowed and afraid of me so far. So I'm going to use my intimidation. Let me give you an intimidation roll to sort of walk over there.
Sure.
How's that?
Yeah.
Let me do it that way.
I'm going this way, and I'm going this way, and you're not going to move. All right. We're going to call that initiative, sir. Because as you stride over, and we're not obviously who we say we are, we're actually something very, very, very smart and very, very, very different as you attempt to intimidate us and keep us here, which you may succeed. Oh, 32 is very intimidating, like shit. But the moment you get into position, right, their posture changes quite a lot, is about to change. And as he circles the room, gentlemen, it becomes obvious, like the two of them just, like you ever see a bad guy do the, oh shit. And then they just drop their shoulders and go, whatever. Pull out a gun, right? So, yeah. So with Glug Glug leading at a 32, and the rest of you guys perhaps hitting, since you're up there and watching, give me main perception on your main page so it automatically does your initiative for you.
And you've entered mine for me, right?
Nat 20 for 39.
Sweet. Jeez, two 39s.
for their 9.
A nat 1 for 19.
He gets a 32, which is really good, and everyone's like,
No, it's totally good.
no. So no, I'll tell you this. So Glug Glug, I'm gonna leave you in your original position, but we'll say like as you walk forward, right? These guys are all watching, and they you're watching them, but they just kind of see it. You see them stand up, Al, and clear their hands like they're getting ready to cast, like all this kind of thing. Like it's about to go down, and by the time Glug Glug gets to his position, you guys will have all had a chance to act, starting with Miros, who is banging pots. Okay, we'll put Miros at the end because he never showed up. So Al, as Glug Glug is talking to him, as the seconds are passing, with your perception in the tower, your perception of 39, counting that as a sense motive, counting that as subtle signs. They're not wounded. They look foreign. And then there's the tea, and you notice everything Glug Glug notices, and then some, and they're full of shit. What do? I'm not saying they pull weapons or pull spells, but they certainly stop cowering and take tactical note that Glug Glug is trying to surround them. One might even be able to act before he gets there.
That's a good question.
It's a very small room for a fireball, ladies and gentlemen. So let's talk about the room dimensions.
I will spend a focus point.
Yeah.
And let me just get these guys targeted. I will cast Flurry of Claws.
Okay. Now, this room is 25 feet wide, 35 feet long, and in the bottom right corner, we all popped out of a trapdoor that's really 5 feet off the wall from the bottom, but on the right wall. There is an exit in the center of the bottom wall. There's an exit the center of the top wall that Glug Glug was moving to stop. And there's an exit near the top wall, kind of close to them. But the left side of the room, like the open path that these guys are using, is this big L shape, straight up 10 feet wide, and then hooks to the left and straight feet across the top. Because the bottom left mini area is all furniture. There's table, there's couches, there's chairs, so we're all kind of navigating this open space, and a lovely lamp in here. And then he calls deep within his soul of souls, arcane magic.
For my first action, I'll just say, "Oh, Glug Glug, you're way too trusting. Read the room, laddie." And then I'll hands out.
But he read the room. He read it really well. 29. Oh, did you have targets on them? That's okay.
Yeah.
No, that's okay. It's okay. I will drop it on their heads and see what happens. No? Huh.
Do they break something in their update?
Are they in the combat tracker?
Targeting Vicomanter.
Oh, yeah, they have to be in the combat tracker probably, right?
Oh, you know what the problem is?
It does show you targeting one of them.
I've got them both targeted on my screen. Oh,
I have
character says Vicomanter.
No, I've got boring minis on top of hidden, red rim bad guys,
so I
right?
wasn't targeting the actual mobs. Okay, I get it.
Yeah, there we go. Okay. So let's try that again. Let me pull my 29 over and see what happens. There we go.
Miss.
Is it one roll for two dudes?
It should be an attack on each of them.
Okay.
And 29 misses both of them.
So this is a spell attack against our AC?
Yep.
Okay. For a couple dudes in clothes, they are surprisingly, claws come up at them, whatever, and start scratching at the illusion that these things are wearing, and you miss. Whiff, whiff. Oh crap!
Whiff, whiff.
How many actions are that?
That's 2 actions, and I use my
And
first one
to berate. Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
I don't think berate's the right term.
Sorry. When you're calling out an ambush or you're calling out any
Lightly
kind of warning,
jibe.
then lightly jibe. Scold.
Yeah, scold. That's
Oh, there we
better.
go.
I'll take that. But yes, I will spend
Okay.
the action to do so.
Okay. Karam, you pop out of the trap door, and then, your gut just tells you that these dudes are all this man and woman are all kinds of wrong, and you can act. You climbed a ladder, so I need you guys to redraw weapons. Got to put them away to get up here. So right now, Glug Glug, I will say that Glug Glug had a chance to pull out a weapon, but I don't know if you were kind of going for, well, you said to say intimidate. Yeah, okay, so you could be weapon out if you want, Glug Glug, or was your intent just to go block and try diplomacy? You're the only one that seemed to have time. Because you came up and said, hey guys, and then they all just start popping up in the room and everyone went, shit.
No, I didn't get to the point where I was comfortable having a weapon out until essentially now. So
Now,
I don't have my weapon now.
If these guys went after you, the instigating of the combat, I would say they could pull their weapons. But since they're literally reacting before you're getting to that, I actually need them to burn said actions to pull said weapons, if that makes sense for flavor.
Yep.
So, Karam, what do you want to do?
Yep, I'll pull out my bow. I will target, looks like Zamora.
Just for the record, I'm switching to battle music and battle map now because it's not a real fight till the halfling pulls his bow and shit goes down. Sorry.
When the smallest man brings out a weapon.
Yep.
Woo. The biggest weapon.
Aha.
Sure. And then
Sure.
I'll use my
That's
My
what
short
I've been
bow.
told.
a little short bow.
A longbow.
Let's see. I'll do device stratagem.
Oh, behave.
Ooh, with a
Ooh.
net 20.
Dude, I have a name. It's time to go to a card. Finally. Thank you, Karam. Thank you, Drew. Been dying to use these bloody things. All right. Piercing. Target takes a negative 5-foot status to penalty to its land speed until healed. That's not bad because these things are freaking fast. Leg wound, it says. So on top of your double damage and everything you want to do, dude also, what did you say, Vikamer? Vikmanther? Is the guy you targeted?
It's
or Zamora?
Zamora.
Yeah, Zamora.
You shoot the woman in the leg, and I'm going to reduce her speed by 5 feet.
46 damage, and
Ow!
let's give her persistent bleed.
Okay.
Shot her in the knee. She is no longer able to be an adventurer.
What?
Took an arrow to the knee, Jeff.
No. That's only adventurers. The bad guys don't count. Never was an adventurer. We're cult members. We're bad guys. We never took it up. Went right to the dark side. Sorry, my knee's fine.
Well, she can never go to
Sorry.
adventuring now. It's too late.
We wear those Jedi shin guard things that just come up over the knee. But yes, if I ever went straight, adventuring's out. Sorry.
And that is me pulling out my weapon, device stratagem, and shoot.
All right. Shoot the girl in the leg. Dude starts walking around. Big Manther reaches in a pot, stops cowering, right? Now, there's no prone. There's no taking cover. It just, like I said, we're acting. We're kind of like, oh no, So I don't really think they're down on one knee or anything, holding each other. Reaches in a pocket and pulls out some gum arabic and an eyelash, squeezes them together, and casts a spell, and immediately disappears in thin air. Boom. Oh, I've got these guys backwards. Huh. Okay, well, that's... where are you? Get rid of you. You were in this position. You shot this person. You shot that person. Okay. Oh no. My disguise. Ignore the person under the curtain there. Okay, so couple actions to cast said spell. And then does this and that, which brings us to Glug Glug. Glug Glug was ready to pace around and block an exit, and one disappears, and they're calling and they're shooting already, and all this stuff just suddenly goes down as you're, mid-stride. I will allow you to react. You can, cancel everything you were intending to do. I know we're saying for flavor like you were about to do it, but since everything happened so fast, it's like stepping off a curb and a bus almost hits you. Your body just kicks into adrenaline and you pull up short. So if you wish to change your actions, I will let you. No? Okay.
At the moment, what I intend to do is walk around the woman to that spot, giving
in
them
between
the
the doors?
opportunity. Yeah. To still place myself in the same spot that I was planning to. Plus, it also puts me, in melee range with where I saw both figures. I will draw my javelin, and I will attack the square. I realize this is dumb, but I'm going to do it anyway. Attack the square that the invisible person was in with high confidence that that's where they are, and I'm going to hit them.
Okay. Invisibility, the spell says I gain the hidden condition from you.
Okay.
Okay.
How's that work?
It's a bunch of D20 flat checks of I'm here and I think I'm here and all this type of thing, right? So while we are having the guys look it up, okay, there is a flat check, but I could save you the trouble because he might be there, may not be there. But if he's there and you blow the roll, it might be a straight whiff, but that means they still could be standing there. It's just so hard to hit you know what I mean?
So I'm going to drop a 20 in the tower. I assume it's this flat 20 roll, so I'm going to drop that 20 in the tower.
Okay.
But I'm still, so then I'll attack with my great club.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I said great club, but I meant javelin.
Yeah. So swing open, you don't need a target because I can always drag it onto them if you hit it. You know what I mean?
Correct.
So let's, Joe,
can you take haste and quickened off of me, as I am neither of those things anymore?
Okay. Trying to help you out, buddy, but all right. Yeah.
All right. Well,
Joe, let's talk about invisibility and being hidden and detected. You guys remember all that spiel? No? Okay. That's okay. I have Archives of Nephith too, you know.
Yeah, they can seek to turn them to once more visibility. So if they're hidden, they'd be observed. If you passed your seek roll, they'd be observed.
Yeah.
Past that.
So they've become hidden. It says you're hidden from a creature. That creature knows the space you're in, but can't tell precisely where you are. But doesn't talk about resolving it. So in Seek, do they talk about making said roll and what the flat check is to figure out where dude is?
So it's for undetected, it's a DC 11 flat check
Mm-hmm.
to hit them.
And is seek an action?
Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
Yes, it is one action.
undetected would mean I'm invisible, hiding in the room, and you had no idea I was there. Right? So it's a step towards Doug's favor, where
And
hidden.
you have to roll them in the tower.
Yeah, he did.
Right. Then I won't actually have an attack, because if I'm doing this seek, which I am,
Okay.
that would be my third action. And I dropped a raw 20 in the tower. I don't know what bonuses I may get.
Okay. Now there's got to be like undetected is the best for the bad guy. He is no, like, you know, you don't even know someone's in the room, right? Then there's hidden. You know I'm here. I could turn invisible. You know what square I'm in, or you think you do, and I'm pretty sure the DC drops to like what 5 or goes up, or because 11's in the middle. No, just still 11. Still the 50. I guess 11 is still that good old 50% invisibility, so that makes sense. Okay. And you got to roll 11 or over, right? To figure it out. Okay, so you're poking around, trying to figure out where your dude is before you get a solid strike, right? And seek is an actual action.
Correct.
So you're determining if he's even in the square. Are you here? I think I know where you are. Okay.
Correct.
You roll in the tower. You don't seem to get much results. You're not confident that there's something, you know, that you've pinned him down in the square. You're not ready to strike just yet, and that ends your turn.
I can't
Which
find him
brings-
yet.
Yeah.
So the seek action is his perception check against their stealth DC, which
Yep.
might be the spell DC, maybe.
Now, I could tell you
okay.
what my perception bonus is to the roll I had, which is probably crappy. But
Well-
my perception is a plus 12, so just FYI.
Cloaked in illusion, the target becomes invisible. That makes them undetected to all creatures, though the creatures can attempt to find the target, making it hidden to them instead. So, sorry, you were right. So I was undetected. Oh no. If you can roll over 11 flat check in the tower, which you did not, you can try and find him, and then I'm just hidden. So if a target
No,
has the
that's to
classification...
attack. That's to attack. That's not to find him. If he beats that 11,
Yeah.
the attack goes through. If he doesn't, it doesn't. But either
Okay.
way, you're not supposed to tell him.
Yeah. Okay. For the case of like, let's learn this new thing. We've been waiting. I don't mind being a little bit, you know, peek behind the screen. Moving forward, it'll be a little bit more dun dun dun. But yeah. Now there's the other thing where like there's more than one way to hide. You know, like perception, you're using in the dark. Perception, you're trying to figure out, is there something hidden in this room, right, type of thing. But the flat check, we're like right up into combat. He was right there. So I don't have any bonuses or penalties I can give to said tower roll. It's just the flat check they were discussing earlier, Doug. Anyway, poke, poke, poke. Can't seem to find him with certainty, and holding your attack for the moment. Which brings us to Glug Glug, and now Zamora, the girl. Furiously, she looks at the halfling. Something about always wanted to be an adventurer. And looking at her damaged leg, critted with all that damage, instead of invisibility, she casts another spell, doesn't disappear, but lifts off the ground and provokes an attack of opportunity from Glug Glug if he has one, because I'm moving.
Absolutely.
I am moving.
You're moving out of square.
Well, I'm moving up, which is technically out of the square that you threaten into another square above you that you threaten. So, what was that? Control up?
I think it's alt.
Alt? Right? It's not a very tall room, so I'm 5 feet in the air. Right? So, like, my feet are where your shoulders are. She goes up, that provokes, and depending what happens next, I'm going to move around with my fly spell because I have 2 to cast it and then some movement to occur. So can I have an attack of opportunity from you, Doug, and change your targets? Or I can target her for you.
Can you target her for me? I keep clicking and it's not doing anything. So.
Oh, because the costume. You can just get rid of that.
Oh, because there's the right. There's the fake version that's not actually there. Correct.
But you don't know what I am yet. Don't look. You know
Yeah,
what's
but it's
going
in my
on.
way, and it's why I can't target you.
Well, you
all right.
I'm targeting. Went to all the trouble of setting all this shit up.
It was beautiful.
Thank you.
24, I miss.
Okay. Floats up, you whiff, and
I'm gonna burn a hero point on that and re-roll it
sure.
because that was a 4. And that was terrible. I wanted to. I rolled another 4.
Oh wow.
All the time. All the time.
Oh, you know what it is? Messina's not here yet, so
Yeah, Messina's not here, so it's I'm
He's
catching
not
it.
s-
I'm catching
not
these
soak-
strays.
not soaking them up. Not
Oh,
soaking
good.
them up for him. Okay.
All right.
All right. She moves up in the air and comes over above the. I guess above the furniture would not be great. I'm gonna go above the door here, and that's her third action is flying, whoosh, zooming around the room, getting ready to do something, because somebody shot me in my leg and my knee, and I'm not as agile as I used to. Brings us to Vicar. But what's this? Persistent damage. Zamora resisted persistent damage. It says damage 0, and I rolled 2 and failed my check. Apparently, she has some resistances. Young halfling. What the hell are we fighting? Vicar Niles.
All right. I will draw my weapon,
Okay.
raise my shield,
Okay.
and Mr. GM, I like to
Yes.
recall knowledge
All right.
on said individual,
Okay.
Zamora.
Society.
Society. Would you like that in the tower, sir?
Yes, please. Always. You never know how good until you do. Now, do you have the dubious?
Okay, that was weird because I have the die in my hand.
That's fine. I'll let you have it. He missed the tower, ladies and gentlemen, with a 30.
No, the die was still in my hand.
Okay.
That's why I'm like, okay.
The accent paired along with reversed palms on their hands as they flash through the gestures. You've seen spellcasting. You guys have all trained into to try. If you want to do, you could spellcraft and blah blah blah, and try and figure out what the guy's spell is or dispel magic, whatever. Right? The fact that their hands seem flipped up backwards, that their knuckles meet, that they have palms on the backs of their hands, and they're rolling, shall we say, Syrian accents in Galorian, as in not Katapesh or Syrian per se, but next to Taldor, you have the whole Persia, Kasan. There's a whole continent there called outside inside region, all sultans, and it's called Kasara. So with the equivalent of a Persian accent, a caster that can cast illusions and reversed palms, you believe you are dealing with a very dangerous pair of... Anyone?
No idea.
Any guess? No? Anyone care to guess from my description?
Jin?
No? No. Rakshasas.
Oh, Rakshasas.
Rakshasa. Shakakan. Shakakan. Yeah. Rakshasa. 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 There we go. Tiger people with reverse bombs. Incredibly dangerous spellcasters. And they've been nerfed. Because there's a pair of them. As much as I'd like to have my invisibility heightened, where when I attack it becomes improved invisibility, you guys are lucky. But the funny thing is they've changed invisibility. They attack, I don't become invisible until after the attack has landed. Which is pretty cool. So I don't know if that means I don't become visible if I walk up and miss. But after they land attack and damage, then they fade back to visible.
Missing is still a hostile action, sir.
Oh, okay. I was trying to keep a sense. I was looking it up. I was trying to keep a sense of, danger, because I'm looking at their spells going, wow, this would be a one-sided fight because you read the spell, right? And it talks about how you can heighten it. It's like, I have high-level spell slots. I could take this, Oh, I can't. I need a 6th level slot. I don't. Okay, never mind. Yeah. 10 minutes of invisibility, or you can heighten it. 4th. and 1 minute, but the target does not become, doesn't end if it uses a hostile action, as the man said. Anyway, very dangerous. And before you can warn us all about it, that was your third action, yes?
Yes, that is my third.
Okay, for your 30, offense, defense, or I've already given you one big clue. They are very dangerous spellcasters. And because they're monsters, we can hold our own in melee as well. What do you want? Offense, defense.
Defense.
Okay. As in like a weakness or something that's you might be like, obviously they have resistances. Would you like to know what those resistances are?
I'd like to know what their weakest save is.
Their weakest saving throw or an actual straight out, they are weak to fire or they are weak to this?
Weakest saving throw.
Weakest saving throw. Okay. Willpower at 18.
Sweet.
Plus 18, and it goes up from there.
All
right. So this is all just coming apparent before you had a chance to start yelling it out. Miros is still interested in his pots, which brings us to round 2. Alll.
I will draw my Rod of Wonder.
Oh. Time to make the fight really interesting.
And where's the list? Rod of Wonder.
I will tell you one thing. On Miros' round, suddenly the pots just stop banging downstairs. I'll tell you that much.
All right, choose a creature within 60 feet, that one that I can see, and roll an effect off the table. Here we go. So I need to roll.
I am Zamora of the Smashed Knee. Rakshasa of great power.
So that is 16. Oh.
16%.
Lightning bolt.
Okay, there you go.
Where is that spell?
Who has lightning bolt?
I don't.
That's okay. If you look on the right side, the very bottom of the book, like on your fantasy grounds, you can actually type it in. Lightning.
I don't
bolt.
have that.
I got it. 3rd level spell. Bolt of lightning strikes outward from your hand, dealing 4d12 electricity damage with a basic reflex save. 120-foot line, 2 actions. Well, whatever actions it costs you to
2 actions.
to use the wand, right? So, okay. So a straight line through her and into the wall.
Yes,
right?
sir.
Crackle, 1 line. Gluglug's 10 feet away, and she's 5 foot in the air, so nice and safe. So she gets a basic reflex, and can you drop 4d12 into the dice rolling for me? Dice roller. Dice roller.
Nice rolls.
Reflex is my best save.
29.
Oh, that's a low. 25. Fail.
Would it be versus my spell DC?
Yeah, your spell. Oh, so instead of looking up invisibility today, I got all up in my head about dispel magic.
Oh, good. Good.
And I figured out how it works, and I noticed that Joe had a discrepancy on his, and both of you guys had a discrepancy on your character sheets. There's labels that you can turn over, so that one says attack, one says CDC, and one says whatever, and set it all up, and Yep. Basically, in a nutshell, Matt, if you want to cast a spell magic, you roll a d20, and you add your plus 18. Your spell DC is 28.
Yes.
Pretty much, right? So I fail with a 25. So I take all of it.
Suck it, Trebek.
Okay, so how much is that?
Points of damage.
All right. Now me just double checking to see if I have any, because we didn't target her and stuff.
Yeah.
Just want to see if I have any, right?
I can't type
plus-
that.
+2 status to all magical saves brings me up to 27, but not good enough. +3 versus all divine magic. Oh, that's good to know. Ooh. Blah, 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 blah. But yeah, I do not see any electricity. Friend or foe, yes or no, yay or nay. So, on top of the... Jeez, so that's... 25. Oh, wow. Burnt cat fur sizzling on the room. Well done, sir. Karam.
I think I'll try to hit her again. She's trying to show her dominance by being taller than me.
Pin her to the wall this time.
Device stratagem for a 33 and a hit.
There's an idea what you're dealing with. See, it
26
looks like
damage.
it looks like the hand is flipped around.
That's creepy.
Now, it's not an illusion. It's actually, they can actually change shape. So, like I said, this is intel that I'm trying to give Vicar. Yeah, I mean, he knows what they are. You guys are fighting two civilians that turned out to be evil casters. Oh no, right? But there's some subtle signs how they seem to bend their hands backwards and the type of thing that Vicar's caught on, because their actual abilities here, where is it? Change shape. Medium humanoid doesn't. Yeah, as a single action, it can polymorph, transmute into like a person. Usually the same dude, though. Anyway, sorry, Karam.
I think for my last action, I will seek to try to find that invisible person who may or may not be inching closer to me.
Okay. So, Seek, do you have a line? Do you have a radius? Are you just allowed to kind of left to right along the horizon? What does it talk about seeking?
It talks
30
about
foot.
30 feet.
Sure. Pretty much the whole room. Okay.
GM
In the
determines
tower?
the area you can scan with one seek action, almost always 30 feet or less in any dimension.
Yeah, you're almost in the corner of a room, so you're kind of doing the left to right, look for something, the predator waver, something bumping furniture, something bouncing, a shadow on the ceiling, like something, right? His eyes darting all about. Dun, 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 right? Now, because we're in combat, you're not doing the I'm attacking with the flat of 11, right? You're doing the perception seek.
Yes, against,
Right.
I guess, their DC for their magic.
Stealth DC.
Or stealth. I think because it was a magic spell, it would probably be their magic DC.
Yeah, there's always the and what if I have plus 20 stealth on top of using the spell? Remember how invisibility used to give another, yeah. Anyway, you're scanning the room. Don't seem to pick out anything that's like, aha, you know. These things are used to using the spell effectively by the looks of it so far. So, a shot on the girl, 26 points of damage, haha, and then quickly scanning for your other opponent, and don't seem to pick anything out just as of yet. And that's you, sir?
That's me.
That's you? Okay.
Now that's me, Karam.
Vic Manther. Now, just double check. These are named foes. This is a boss fight. Any 1s and 20s beyond that last one? Don't think just that one where I got to pull that card for Karam, right? Nothing, no cards
I'm
owed.
happy to turn that 4 from last into a 20.
Into a 1? We kind of go towards the way it's going.
I
Under 10 will be, you know. So I have a very interesting ability here. Yeah, that's probably what she's going to do. So for me, where's my spell list? Sorry, so many choices, right?
And the GM never gets the rest of the round to plan their actions.
No.
So it always ends up being that way. I know as a GM, it's sort of like, oh, it's my turn. Okay, now I have to analyze all the stuff that just happened in the round to just figure out.
Well,
what I'm
it's
doing.
I was looking at this today, and they do have a basic script, but it's more like when do they attack or when do they keep lying, you know? And sometimes they go, oh, they lead with this and lead with that, but they've got a nice list, and luckily it's a reaction. So you shot me in the leg, I got no mobility, fly, you know? Not to mention we know we're on the second story, and if we can get to a window, we can fly away, you know, things like that, right? I'm thinking, though, since you've wounded my mate, flight isn't quite, we're not quite there yet. I believe I'm going to go with Shadow Blast. I shape a quasi-real substance of the shadow plane into a blast. I choose acid, bludgeoning, cold, electricity, fire, force, piercing, slashing, or sonic damage, and choose a 30-foot cone, 15-foot burst within 120 feet of me, or a 50-foot line. I'm going to go with a cone, and he reveals himself after hurting you guys. So basically, I'm where I am. I'm lined up to get the three of you boys right in that room there in the bottom corner. So I'm going to target you guys first. Where are we here? You hear soft chanting, but by the time it reaches a crescendo, it's too late, and the spell for 2 actions goes off. And as I'm casting, just for flavor, like he obviously moves, right? But there is that proverbial moving forward. As he squeezes in between furniture, but luckily Karam's eyes had already scanned past this and was looking at the far side of the room where he might have seen the wobble and the tobble. And I cast Shadow Blast, and it chooses... I saw lightning. I might assume you are like lightning kind of dude. You know what I mean? So I probably won't cast electricity at you, wondering if you have some kind of, you know, and adventurers have armor, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to make too much noise. Sonic is a good one. We have sensitive ears. So that leaves us acid and force. I'm going to go odd and even. Joe, pick odd or even for me, sir.
Odd.
Odd is force. Congratulations. Does anyone have any resistances to force before I drop this? It's funny. I'm looking at the spell, and it's got 10 things for damage. Acid, bludgeoning, cold. Like, they actually wrote out every type of damage. Anyway, can I have a saving throw, gentlemen? Because I am looking at... Where is it here?
I'm assuming.
Or will, your choice. Reflex or will, target's choice. Because it's quasi-real, you can bolster your willpower to like, it's not real damage. And the casters all go for willpower. And the halfling...
20, 37, critical success. Sorry.
Oh. Nice.
Happy I'm on the other side of the room at the moment. Those are nice.
Too bad there wasn't an attack spell. With, I think we're looking at 26, 29. So you guys all save. And what I believe is for half. Because it's a basic. Yeah, it's
I
a basic.
critically succeeded.
So
With a nat
since
20.
I succeeded, I critically succeeded because of my willpower.
Oh yeah, what's your ability that does that? I know Glugglug's got one of those too.
I got it report. They all have custom names for the ability at that
Yeah.
level.
I want to hear that. I want to hear it. Like, I want to use my will.
Or something
I don't know
like
what it's
that.
called.
It's called I min-max
Well,
my
and
dude,
I
but
don't
flavored.
even think it's the same one per class. I think
It isn't. That's why I want to hear it. I'm like, oh, you have a similar ability, but it's like, come on, for flavor. It's like I use my, it's supposed to like, saves are all crits for me. Well, that's cool, but let's.
I think mine is Juggernaut. I think is what mine is.
The Juggernaut Blessing of Kurgus just sounds cool.
Exactly.
Okay. So while Vicar is
Mine
scrolling
is
through.
Resolve.
Oh yes, resolve. There you go. With my willpower and my own resolve, my 34 becomes 39, right? So 2 crits for Nada. Karam, how about you? You got any what now?
I don't have anything like that. No
Oh, okay.
jumping
Just
up to
just-
critical success.
No
Okay,
lightning
well-
reflexes yet.
You did save for half damage, so I guess I can untarget a few of you crafty buggers, take you off the hit list, and just with the quasi-realness. But then you prove to be far more resilient foes, and that changed my tactics, giving the GM permission to play my trump card called Surrender. What? No. What? No. How are you using suggestion on me? What?
These are not the tigers you're looking for.
These are not the adventurers you're looking for. All right. So with half damage in the chamber, spells, and we chose Force, Shadow Blast. Show me Force. Bum, bum, bum. 23 points of damage, and half is 11 of force damage to Karam. Anyway, the chanting, the shadowy wisps that give it away as quasi-real before it solidifies into an invisible force, which is kind of weird. And we all puff and bail and jump, and you guys are fine, and Karam, Halfling only takes half. And kind of a dodgy, ballsy move because, hey, why am I stuck on the furniture? Sorry, just trying to get to the door. Here we go. Goes the door, casts my cone, boom, and then only the halfling is hurt. But I'm right in front of you. Glug glug. Aha! There they are. Now you can see both of them. What do you want to do? One's in the air.
I would like to play Smite on Zamora, which will let me do
Okay.
extra damage. And if I do end up hitting, if they happen to be unholy, then I will do even more damage. But otherwise, it'll.
I am old school lawful evil.
Being evil itself, I don't think matters. I think it would say.
Oh, like being a demon or something, like completely unholy. These guys walk the line. We do speak infernal. Remember that conversation that Miros overheard? These two are sitting in a chair, sipping tea, talking about what is the best tea to go with this type of torture, and what is the best tea to drink when you're bathing someone in blood. I'm like, and it's in the script, and I'm like, oh, does anyone speak infernal? And Miros is like, no. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh man, this.
I think the holy and unholy in this context typically requires an extra level of dedication in some fashion, whether it was,
Okay.
Oh, I speak Infernal.
So, because like me being a champion made me holy. So I was a good
Okay.
person before I ever became a champion.
Well, I will say they have a weakness to holy. They have a weakness to good. So you're probably going to start mopping them up.
That would be nice. All right, so I'm going to attack her first.
I normally wouldn't reveal this, but because we're kind of on the fence about this being legacy adventure and you guys being revised adventurers, we got to kind of like let the cat out of the bag for some of these roles and rules, because I didn't want it, like the last couple episodes we went on and on about it, and I just want to look behind the curtain, look, see, okay, we're all good. Swift and a
I
miss.
missed.
Okay.
I'm gonna go ahead and use my third one and attack a second time. It's my low roll, but even worse. Critical miss.
Critical miss against a named foe. Drawing a
That's
card.
not a
sir.
one. It's not a one. It's
Oh,
not.
jeez,
Not
man,
a one, yeah.
Never get to use my cards.
Did you see how quick I was on that?
Patron point.
Well, it's not fair because every single time one of these guys is going to swing at us, they're going to be
Yeah.
either
A hit or a miss. A critical.
a crit or a miss.
Yeah.
Sorry. We did an entire fight with a named foe, and I forgot to use cards. And I realized these guys had names today when I was prepping. I'm like, and I put the cards like right out in front of me. I get a little excited when I see the word crit. Sorry, Doug.
No,
Not trying to pull one on you, man.
I'm continuing to roll less. I don't think I've rolled above a 10 tonight.
Okay.
in any, including into the tower.
Curse of Messina.
Yeah, okay. Well, in anguish, in anger, and having 101 hit points worth of wounds floating in the air, Zamora will see you all next time